we have revisited September 12, 2018 by pushing this agreement forward for another 2 years. Why do we extend the period? I think you need to know why we are extending. We in the committee analyze the metrics, the functions that were carried out and those that were extending. And we came to two critical decisions to make. One is to go for election in December 2022, 4 months from now. The second critical decision was to extend, because there are many voices that will say, oh, they are extending their life span in the government. Those were two critical decisions. And why they were critical? If we want to have a peaceful transition to a democratically elected government, there are benchmarks which we have not done. And I want to highlight them. One is the constitutional making process. We need a constitution that will define our system of government, that will define our constituencies, that will define the political space, that will define the rights of our citizens. So constitution is critical. And in our analysis, we found that it is the most consuming activity in the remaining tasks, 24 months. That's why we peg it at that. So it's critical. The second one, which is also as critical as constitution, is the unification of our forces. Why do we want to unite our forces? We want to separate forces from politics so that they become non-partisan. That is very important. But more important also is that if you don't unify these forces, you cannot conduct free, fair, and peaceful, credible elections. So these forces are intended to secure the elections. And if we have not done that process, then whatever elections we want to go, it's just a recipe for going back to square one. And I think none of us would like to go back there. So this is very critical, and I think we are making progress. Maybe this month or next month we will graduate and unify the first batch. That will be a progress indeed. We have all these things we have identified as not being implemented. They need resources. And with our resources, we will go back to square one. So how do we get the resources needed for the implementation? Sometimes they connected with political will. I appealed to the executive and to the legislature to find this money, this elusive money, to complete this chapter of implementing this agreement so that we transit to free, fair election thereafter. So we have a budget that is under discussion now. we should put our heads together, apportion money for this purpose. Otherwise, if we don't do it, then also we will be in, we will go back to square one. The other issue, which is important, is that we have the whole art groups. Rome initiative is ongoing. We want that Rome initiative to be concluded successfully so that we have a comprehensive peace agreement, so that there will be no people in the forest to disturb us for, and thereafter we go for development. So my appeal is to the two giants. When we were in peace talks in Addis Ababa, the foreign minister of Ethiopia divided us into two. There were two giants, the IG and the IO. So if they didn't agree on any proposal, then we don't move forward. Now I am appealing to them that it is time to have this unity of purpose. We are one government. We are one people. If we don't resolve our differences, then the future will be very bleak. And this generation of ours will be blamed. So we appeal to you that whatever differences we have in the implementation of the agreement, we should always resort to the negotiating table and find a solution to those differences. My appeal also to the international community, the region, yes, we might have made our own mistakes, but I think peace in South Sudan is a cross-cutting issue. And if you let us be in war, then your interests in one way or the other in the region will also be affected, and you will be managing crisis. So support us. Don't give us guns. Give us medicines. Give us scholarships. What is making things difficult for South Sudan is lack of education. Over 70% are uneducated. How do you compare them with those in the West if they are not to be lifted? So sanctions us in certain areas, but support us in certain areas. Okay? Otherwise, you let us alone, then that's where we will look inward to ourselves. And finally, the political space is necessary, is important. And to my brother Deng, he was calling for the unity of two giants. Then what does it mean? It means that we will have one-party government manipulating everything. Where is the democracy you are talking about? Okay? So why don't we take the example of the Kenyans? Kenyans, every 5 years, when they elect their leader, they make alliances. And they work until the 5 years are about to be over. Then they make new alliances. That's why you see Ruto is thrown away by Kenyatta, and Kenyatta is embracing Raila, why don't we try that experience? But more importantly is that let us have, we are Democrats by nature. Let us build that democratic South Sudan. With all these resources we have, we can be there tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Your Excellency, the President.